DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hey, Merry Christmas, and welcome to a special Christmas Eve edition of FLX Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com. I'm Jim Sinicropi, live inside the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls. And today we'll welcome Veronica Ryan from Skaneateles into the studio. She's Miss Upstate New York for America Strong 2026. And she'll share her mental health journey along with everything involved in being Miss Upstate New York for America Strong for the upcoming year 2026. But with the holiday season, mental health can certainly be at the forefront for a lot of folks. So we hope that you'll get something from our conversation. And I look forward to talking to Veronica in just a few moments. But first, this episode of FLX Weekly is brought to you by Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. And soon, Hyundai, new Hyundai dealership opening up there on Route 5 in Auburn. So thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. And also, Blush by CV Designs, a local woman-owned business in the heart of the Finger Lakes, offering women's clothing and accessories, quality home goods, and unique gifts. See what everyone's talking about by visiting their location in downtown Seneca Falls, or browse all their products online at shopcvdesigns.com. So, hi, Veronica.
Hi, how are you?
Thank
you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in from Skaneateles. Beautiful town this time of year, Skaneateles.
Yes, gorgeous.
They really know how to do the holidays. So Miss Upstate New York for America Strong for 2026. How did you become, Miss Upstate New York?
Yes, so it's something that came to me, as you said, I'm a mental health advocate, and that's kind of where it all began when I was struggling with some mental health diagnoses myself and coming out of that and onto the other side. I was introduced to the pageant circuit by a friend who knew that I was looking to advocate, and this pageant circuit, the Miss America Strong, is very good about encouraging young women to create platforms of advocacy and look to spread positive messages. So that's how I was introduced to it by a friend who had competed herself, knew that I was looking to advocate, and thought it would be a nice way for me to introduce my message to the world.
Awesome. And you're also affiliated through this with the Upstate Foundation and the Psychiatric High Risk Program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Correct. So I myself am still currently a patient at the Psychiatry High Risk Program at Upstate, and I have a wonderful relationship with them. I really identify that program as saving my life. I entered it when I was 21 years old and was receiving a borderline personality disorder diagnosis. So I've struggled with mental illness for all of my life, and I have had multiple diagnoses, including anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, anorexia, depression, and then again, that BPD diagnosis came when I was 21. And at that point, I entered the high risk program, and they gave me the treatment that I so desperately needed and really turned my life around and saved my life. So I identify it as being a complete miracle.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. So you graduated from high school in 2018.
I did,
at
correct.
Skaneateles.
Yes.
Were you aware of mental health issues when you were in high school, or did you kind of just feel like that's what teenagers go through? Tell us just a little bit about what that was like when you were in high school.
Yes, of course. So it's something that has been with me since I was a child. My earliest memories, I could identify something being off. And then the anxiety really started around first grade when I was 6 years old. That morphed into the obsessive compulsive disorder when I was around 8. By the time I was in middle school, unfortunately, disordered eating started to become part of my life, and I was diagnosed with anorexia at age 14. I struggled with anxiety, again, age 6, depression, maybe starting age 10, self-harm and thoughts of suicide age 15. So it was kind of an ongoing thing that just continued to build. So I was aware of these diagnoses and I was receiving help and treatment as a child and into high school. But unfortunately, things were just building, and that BPD was missing piece of the puzzle that wasn't diagnosed until later.
So was this something that your friends at school were aware of, or was this something that you kind of kept to yourself? And how did your interactions with did you have friends that supported you, or just talk a little bit about like maybe the social aspect of what you were going through?
Yes, yes. I have a very supportive and loving family, and I grew up and, in high school, still had wonderful friends. I think it is something that was a little bit more internal of a struggle. I was able to share and confide in friends, and they knew what I was going through, but at the same time, I was very withdrawn. And it wasn't, my behavior and the things I was struggling with from childhood and into high school, it wasn't necessarily something where there were behavioral issues that might draw red flags from
Mhm.
family members or friends. It was more of an internal struggle. Yes.
And so one thing that you said off the top that kind of struck me was that you're still struggle with this, right? It's not something that, is it something that gets cured, or it's something that gets managed? Like, what's your overall goal and outlook for treatment of your issue?
Yes. So borderline personality disorder is very misunderstood. There's not a lot of education about it, and there's definitely a very strong stigma around it. But the high risk program is incredible, and they do very extensive testing when you enter the program and throughout your time in the program. And what's so amazing is when I completed my initial year of treatment with them, and now I'm in a monthly maintenance program where I
Mhm.
check in with them. But my scores for anxiety, depression, borderline personality disorder, they all were very severe when I entered the program. And after that initial year of treatment, I wasn't registering anymore. So, really, we rarely use the word remission when we're talking about mental health,
Mhm.
but that really was the case. And I've been able to maintain that. So, even though I will always live with these disorders and have to be aware and live a lifestyle that supports them staying in remission, I
Mhm.
do identify that they are in remission. It's just a matter of keeping them there. So I talk about my mental health and my journey, and the goal with treatment is to continue treatment to keep things in remission. Similar to addiction, it's something where I have to wake up every day and choose to live a life that's supportive of my recovery.
Um, was there a point in your treatment where you started to feel like relieved, like, oh wow, there is a path through this where I can kind of get beyond it and manage it?
Yes, yes. Coming into the program, really that diagnosis at age 21 became because I had a complete psychotic breakdown, and really I was catatonic. I was a selective mute. I lost my mind. And I came into that program so sick and so resistant to treatment, and there's no way out of this, highly suicidal.
Mhm.
Without their treatment, I don't think I'll be 25 in March, and I don't think I would have lived past 25 without this treatment, or 23 even.
'Cause you
But
had no desire for anything, maybe. It sounds like it was just
correct.
like, just no desire to seek happiness, or that would even be possible.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But I did start to turn a corner. I really did in their treatment. It was slow and steady, almost like an ice cube melting. Like you didn't even notice at first what was
Hmm.
happening. But all of a sudden, my perspective shifted, and I could see that the therapy really was working. I was thinking about things differently in a healthy way. And I started to have hope, not only for maybe, I can keep myself alive and stay alive. I always say there's such a difference between just staying alive and living.
Sure.
And I started to see the difference. Maybe I can not only stay alive, but live and maybe even be happy.
Hmm.
So there was that click some point during the treatment.
So the treatment, is there medicine involved, medications, or is it more retraining your brain? Like, we talk about the, like, how the treatment actually works.
Yes, that's a great way to put it, is retraining your brain. That really is what it's doing. There are a lot of different therapies out there, but the high risk program uses dynamic deconstructive psychotherapy. And that is a new therapy that was created by the director of the program, Dr. Robert Gregory. So this is his baby. This is brand new and really incredible. And it's been shown to work wonders in suicidal individuals and individuals with disorders that have been resistant to treatment in the past, like borderline personality disorder.
So I guess, is the treatment involve like Dr. Gregory having discussions with you and working through things? Like, I guess I'm just trying to wonder, um, what his approach is, and he has to be thrilled with you, right?
Oh, I
This
hope
is
so.
such a new program that he developed, and he's having success with
Yes.
you, and that's
Yes. So really, their program, again, it's like an initial year of treatment that you come into. And that initial year looks like weekly therapy sessions, like an hour long.
mhm.
You also have medication management, if that's something that's a part of your life, being on medication. You check in with them maybe monthly. There's group therapy, family and couples therapy. But the therapy itself, as someone, I've been in therapy since I was 9 years old, and it didn't really feel or look different than a normal cognitive behavioral therapy session where you're just kind of talking. The main difference is in Dr. Gregory's therapy, it's all based on emotional processing. So while you're talking through the therapy with your therapist, they're kind of stopping you at different points and checking in, what emotions were you feeling during that interaction? They use something called daily connections, which is kind of homework for patients to do outside of therapy that mimics what you're doing in the therapy, where every day you write down an interaction like, someone cut me off in traffic. How did that make me feel? Negative and positive emotions. And what that's doing is helping to create emotional processing pathways in the frontal lobe that don't exist there in individuals with borderline personality disorder. So it's, as you said earlier, literally retraining your brain.
Yeah, that's interesting. Um, so it sounds like you had support from your family, and I'm sure difficult for I'm a parent myself, and you want to protect your child, and I mean the main thing I guess for my daughter is I want her to be happy, and so it had to be frustrating for your parents that they couldn't lead you towards this happiness that every parent wants for their child. Um, just talk a little bit about maybe advice for parents who have children at home now or young adults that are struggling. Like advice for just general advice, I guess, maybe for parents.
Yes, as you said, my parents are the most supportive people in the world.
That's
They're
great.
my number one. I would not be here without them. I think the biggest thing is, I mean, they just never gave up on me, and they were always there. They still are. I think the biggest thing too is talk to your kids just as a more general statement, having some of those difficult conversations about how they're feeling, checking in,
Hmm.
making sure it's always an open discussion. I can tell my parents anything. I talk to them about truly anything. There's nothing that's off limits. And I think that they've gone out of their way as parents to develop that comfort that I, as their child, can bring anything to the table and they won't judge me. I won't, I'm almost 25, but I won't get in trouble or anything like that. I can just be completely honest with them and have their support no matter what.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, Now, sadly, I think that there's probably a lot of people that suffer from mental health issues that maybe don't have that support.
Yes.
What are your general thoughts on those individuals and, like where can they look for support maybe to, if they're not getting it at home,
Hmm.
that's got to be a totally different situation.
Yes, completely. It is hard because I have been so blessed to have the support, so I can't really speak to what it's like to not have that. But I would say, even if it's not family, finding, like we say to kids, that one trusted person, that one trusted adult, whether
Mhm.
it's a guidance counselor or a teacher or, a friend, a friend's parent, friends from church, being able to connect with people and find someone to give you that support. And of course, I would always recommend the high risk program. They have wonderful resources that are able to give you that support outside if you don't have it
Mhm.
from your family.
Um, yeah, and I suppose like this time of year too. I hope there's folks watching this that maybe get some sort of hope or inspiration from the fact that you were in obviously a horrible spot. It sounds like it was very bad, and then but here you are now a few years later, and on kind of on the other side of things and managing it and dealing with it. Um, so I do hope there's someone out there watching now who maybe gets a little bit of hope from your story.
Yes, I hope so too. I hope so too.
And then another, you know, the thing about mental health, I suppose, like for instance, I'm 53 years old and I still experience anxiety over certain things.
Hmm.
And sometimes it comes out of nowhere, where you just have that feeling in your stomach that something's not right or something's not going to work out.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess, for folks watching this, how do you know when it's kind of goes past like the normal human condition and something that might need treatment?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think, like you said, there is, anxiety is just a part of our lives, or
Mhm.
even depression or things like that. I think when it's really causing you great distress and getting in the way of your functioning, that's when I would seek help. And even before then, I think it's that better safe than sorry. It can never hurt to check in with someone, schedule an appointment with a counselor, talk to a friend, even your primary care doctor. Just, is this something I should take a look at? But I
Right.
think identifying if it's something that's ongoing and it's not just here or there or around more stressful events, if it's something that's always there, even at a baseline, and again, if it's impacting at all your ability to function, your relationships, things like that, that's the time to maybe address it as a more ongoing condition.
And that's a good point. Your primary care physician would
Yeah.
probably a good place to start. Most good physicians, when you go in for your checkup, your
Mm-hmm.
annual checkup or whatever it is, they usually ask, "Hey, how's everything going? Is there anything I should know about?" And you
Uh-huh.
shouldn't be afraid to say, "Well, I've actually been struggling with anxiety or I've been depressed in a way that I haven't," but and then they can probably point you in the right direction,
Yes.
to take the
Yes.
next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you being willing to talk about this and share your story. As I mentioned, the holidays are certainly a time when I think that this type of stuff gets exasperated a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but let's transition a little bit now to maybe something a little more Christmassy. You're from Skaneateles, and that is like what a great Christmas town.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
Is what are your family's like favorite Christmas traditions, or what are you looking forward to tomorrow and tonight and the rest of the week?
I'm looking forward to, I mean, I love Christmas. It's such a wonderful time. My family these days is a little more spread out. So we used to all be together, but we're kind of statewide. So we don't necessarily have everyone together around
Mhm.
Christmas. Sometimes we do kind of a Christmas in July when people are home for the summer on the lake. But it'll be good. We'll go to my aunt's later tonight, might do midnight mass. And then tomorrow, typically we do like a brunch on Christmas Day, and just kind of have a relaxed day and get to enjoy that downtime and being together.
Is there any young kids involved in your family now, or is it like kind of in that middle range where?
So I'm blessed with a number of beautiful baby cousins,
Mhm.
but they are all different states. So I won't get to see them maybe via Zoom or FaceTime
Right.
today, but they'll be coming back up in the summer and we'll get to enjoy some time together.
It's always fun to see have kids around, for Christmas for sure.
Yes.
And in my family, we went several years where we didn't have that, but now the next generation, um, and so it it injects a little bit of more excitement into the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day type
Yes.
of
Yes.
festivities, which is awesome. Um, so yeah, it is such a strange type of the year because I think a lot of people have such high expectations, of or they're so focused on, if you're hosting or if you're a parent trying to provide this, idyllic Christmas experience for your kids or your family who's coming over, and it can be exhausting. So I hope that everybody out there has a chance to take a deep breath over the next few days and just relax, enjoy your families, enjoy enjoy vacation when most people aren't working. If you are working, thank you for your service, whatever you're doing. It's obviously essential. But for most of us, it's just a time to kind of relax, which in this day and age, you don't find that a lot throughout the year, at least in mass, where, everybody's got the day off, or a couple days off.
Yes.
So that's nice. And then New Year's 2026.
Yes.
So Miss Upstate New York for America Strong 2026. Does your reign start on like January 1st, or and then what does your next year look like, I guess?
So going into this pageant, I'll be competing in the statewide pageant in April on April 25th. I was very lucky and able to just select the more county/town title that I wanted to represent going into the pageant. And I selected Upstate, obviously, to honor Upstate Hospital and the Psychiatry High Risk Program. So I have this title until I compete in states for 2026. And then if I were to win states, I would become Miss New York for America Strong and go on to compete in nationals, which is usually held in August or September.
So when's the state competition?
So state is in April
Okay.
25th, yes.
Anything that you're doing to prepare for that, or like what will that competition look like?
So, this is something I would be doing without the pageant, but definitely pushing the advocacy, things like this. Again, I'm so grateful to be here, making appearances, spreading my message, talking about the pageant, as well as other preparation. There is some fun stuff like getting a gown, things like that. We've been doing some photo shoots, a lot of fun. But the most important thing to me is the advocacy and spreading a positive message and hopefully helping people, as you said.
It's awesome. Well, good luck in April.
Thank you.
One thing we didn't talk about is you also are writing a column for the Rochester Women magazine.
Yes.
Just talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
And how that came about and what you're trying to accomplish with that.
So similar to the pageant, that's something that came as I was completing my initial year of treatment at the high risk program, and I felt this drive and passion to begin working as a mental health advocate. And that same friend who introduced me to the pageant also had a connection to Rochester Women Online Magazine, which is owned by Kelly Brewer out in Rochester. And I was given the opportunity to start writing for her every month. I titled the column that I write Beautiful, Powerful, Deserving, as a little play on words with borderline personality disorder. As someone with that diagnosis, there are many times that I feel ugly, weak, and worthless. So I wanted to challenge that and kind of bring the opposite to it. So the column focuses on mental health and living with mental illness and navigating all of those challenges, but also, the beautiful parts of life as well.
Yeah. And it's great to think, whether it's this episode or one of your columns, that someone out there is going to see it and it's going to make a difference, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
So, well, that's great. Again, good luck in April.
Thank you.
And thanks for, sharing your story with us. Like I said, I hope that someone out there is listening and it might have an impact. It does seem like you have such an opportunity now to maybe reach out and touch different people who could need that support that maybe they're not getting somewhere else.
Yes.
So, and Merry Christmas.
Oh, you as well.
Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody. Have a great Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year, all that stuff. Hope it's merry and bright. If you like the show, click like, share, and subscribe. We got a whole bunch of more for you coming up in 2026 every Wednesday. Our next show will be in 2026. We don't have anything on the slate for New Year's Eve. So until then, from our family here at FingerLakes1.com to yours, have a fantastic holiday season here in the Finger Lakes.